So most of the SaaS businesses don't make money because the offer that they have is not compelling enough. You have so many competitors today who will be cheaper and easier, and they can offer better discounts that you maybe can't afford, or maybe they have larger distribution network. They have some kind of unfair advantage that you don't have because you're new. So there's always someone who is already doing what you're offering, and every space feels so crowded. So when you're in such a business, you want to create an offer that they can't refuse. So what is an offer? An offer is that you get this tool to do this thing or these many things in this much money, which is either one time fee or a subscription. But here's my advice: you need to create that offer very carefully. That is your sales pitch. But what we see around us, when we see new entrepreneurs like I was, or sometimes even experienced entrepreneurs, we see that when we are in a crowded space where there's a lot of supply, they start panicking, and in that panic, they offer the things that actually kill their business. So basically, they come up with very different ideas. One of the ideas would be that, okay, we'll give it cheaper, or we'll take no commission, or we'll build bigger package which will add multiple services or multiple tools, and we'll provide all those tools together in one package, cheaper than all, like $10 for everything. Or if your competitor is offering $15 per month per user, you will say like, okay, I'll give $8 per month per user, or maybe $10 per month. So these kind of offers work, but only for specific kind of people. Usually those are few people, and they are not ready to purchase, but they bought it because you were selling for very cheap. And also their intention is not clear, and their commitment is not clear, and that affects on the retention as well. So after a couple of months, you're like, what happened to these guys? What happened to them? Why they are not using our products? That's because of lower pricing, or these kind of people just want a tool that is cheaper and can do basic job, because someone advised them to get a software, someone advised them to start a newsletter, but they are not the customers that you want to mention them in your portfolio, right? So these are the people who will always come back to you and complain, or they will run away, or they will find a cheaper option, and you won't realize, but if you go this path, you will be on a race to bottom, where you will try to compete with other lowest offers, and because there will be many other tools like yours. So that's the worst position to be at, because that will help you reduce your quality over time as well, and all. So there's another option. When you create an offer that says that, okay, you add a couple of extra feature. Okay, for example, you're creating an email service provider tool that you're going to compete with. There are many tools in the market, right? So maybe you think that adding an option that will help them send bulk email, that will give us a big advantage, right? That's a good advantage actually, but again, for a very small number of audience, because not everyone is going to use those bulk emails tool, and probably people who want to use the bulk email, they won't switch to your software because they will be like, okay, we don't want to leave Gmail, so just give us a separate tool to send bulk emails, but don't change our current regular email experience. So the strategy that worked for me was that, instead of lower the price, I increased the price. While the regular companies in my industries were charging like $79 to $150 a month, I was charging like $500 for one thing. And guess what? I made more sales than I ever thought. So let me give you an idea of how this happens. And by the way, this is not just me. This is what I'm seeing in so many other startups, and they are all expensive, by the way. So what you need to focus on is not pricing, but the transaction that your customer will have. First of all, see what your client will be using your software for. And second, how your software is helping them. So if you're providing a tool that's just like another tool that's help them do the job, that's one thing. Now you're competing with everyone in your competition. But if you serve for a transactional value, then you're miles ahead of other products. So think of this example. One product that says we are a CRM that helps you connect with the prospects and follow-ups and all that. So we charge $25 per person per month. The other product says that we are a CRM that helps you close the deal. And we don't charge a fixed amount, but we charge when you actually close the deal. And we charge like $150 per deal, right? So now you have two options. The first option is just a tool, and they are charging fixed monthly money, and which is $25. The second option is also basically a tool, but they are not charging unless you make money, and they will only charge you when you make money. And that means that they really want you to make money. That means that they are a very good product. They want to really help you to close the deal so you can make money, and then they can make money, right? Does it sound better? So this means that you should try this tool, because when you close the deal, you're happy to give them $150. But when you're not closing any deal, you don't even want to give anyone $25. So of course, now you will have to make your product exceptionally good. You can't come up with an average product to the market. You'll have to work very hard and design very well and engineer in a way that actually it helps your clients to close the deal. This is what's really happening actually. This is happening in sales, this is happening in customer support, this is happening in hiring. By the way, I built one hiring tool that only make money when a hiring happens. So now it is going to happen everywhere, and it will work as well if you want to prepare a good offer. Intercomfin just launched like 99 cents per outcome. That's an offer. There's another competitor that is Sierra. They came up with a different kind of option, but it was actually even more extreme. You should check that out. So this is one way to create an exceptional offer. The other type is where you reduce the time of thing that they do, and you reduce it significantly. Like Venta.com is a good example, and you should study Venta. They don't say that we are a compliance automation software. They say that we make it audit ready in weeks, not in months. So sometimes the speed is the mode. It becomes the biggest selling point. Doing one thing in a certain period of time becomes so much normal that people don't realize that it can be done faster. And if you crack that, boom, everyone can just jump into your product. Now, another example is that I've learned from Alex Hormozy. That was the money back guarantee. I'll talk about that in the details sometime soon, but that basically says that if this doesn't help you solve your problem, if doesn't solve your problem, you can get a full return. I hope this sounds familiar, by the way, because this is one of the ways Apple sells devices. When you go to Apple Store, they tell you, okay, you can return it within 14 days. You have 14 days return policy. So you're like, okay, we can, just buy it. And if you want to return, it's not a big deal. No questions asked. We will just get the full refund, right? But their product is so good that you start using their product and you don't even think about returning it. So I've built multiple 8-figure businesses, and if I'll have to start again, I'll do one of the same kind of offers. I won't come up with a similar kind of offer that my competitors are offering. I will come up with an offer which will be a lot different, actually more valuable than what they see everywhere else.